Ever realize you need to break up a large build method, but also think that sounds like a lot of work? Try Stateful Builder to get all the performance gains of a separate widget with minimal effort. Imagine a widget that looks like this. There's an inexpensive child widget that toggles a single flag, followed by an expensive widget that you'd rather not rebuild unless absolutely necessary. To fix the performance cost, wrap the stateful portion with a Stateful Builder. Stateful Builder is similar to Builder, except for that extra setState parameter passed to the builder. To make use of this shiny new widget, call its special setState function to rebuild just that portion of your app. Now, when that onTap method is called and invokes setState, it's the setState scoped to your Stateful Builder. This means your expensive stateless widget remains untouched. Stateful Builder is a great way to get all the performance gains out of a separate widget without most of the work. Ever try to show your users a message via a snack bar right before navigating, only to realize that snack bar doesn't follow them to the new page? If so, have no fear, Scaffold Messenger is here. Scaffold Messenger works by sitting above all of your scaffolds as an inherited widget. Anytime a new scaffold is initialized, it looks up the tree for an ancestor Scaffold Messenger and subscribes to snack bar events. Now, I don't know about you, but anything that subscribes to snack bar events is my kind of widget. So many pretzels. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. To get some of this snacky goodness yourself, all you have to do is replace calls to the deprecated scaffold.ofContext method with scaffold messenger.ofContext. But what if you don't have a build context on hand because you're deep inside your state management machine? In that scenario, pass a key to your material app, and then later use it to access the Scaffold Messenger. Everything else about Scaffold Messenger is the same. You still use show snack bar like before, and pass it the same snack bar values as before. Except now, if your users do something that creates a snack bar right before they navigate, or even after they navigate, they'll still see that notification. And the best part is that Scaffold Messenger isn't a widget you even have to add yourself, because Material App includes one for you. All you have to do is use it.
Need to provide users with a way to select a value from a list of options? Try DropdownButton. To start, give it a list of options as drop-down menu items. Drop-down menu items represent the things you'll actually see in the drop-down menu. Since they're all in a list together, they must all be of the same type. Provide a state variable containing the value of the selected drop-down menu item. And finally, give it an onChange callback that calls setState to update the variable when a new value is selected. Now, technically, you can stop right there. Or you can customize the drop-down button to your heart's content. Is that arrow too small? Make it bigger by adjusting the icon size. Or perhaps the default gray doesn't stand out enough. Give it a splash of color by providing an icon-enabled color. Don't even like the arrow? Go ahead and replace it with a different icon. Have the drop-down content horizontally fill its parent by enabling isExpanded. And you can even give the text a fresh coat of paint by providing a style. One thing to remember, if either onChanged or the list of items are null, the drop-down button gets disabled. The arrow will be grayed out and it won't respond to input. Ever have about 72 missed calls and see one of those red badges that remind you of everyone you have to call back? These colorful pop-ups are great at providing users with bits of information in very little space. So instead of returning all of those missed calls, you spend your time wondering, how can I add those nifty little badges to my app? Let's take a widget, say this icon widget. Wrap it in a badge, give it some badge content, usually a text or icon, and voila, you have a badge. By default, the badge will be red, but you can change that by providing a badge color. Change the text color by adding a text style, adjust the badge's location by setting a position value. If the default animation isn't quite to your taste, sample the 3 provided flavors: slide, scale, or fade. While you're at it, try tweaking the animation duration too. To disable animations entirely, set toAnimate to false. And finally, to hide the badge, set show badge to false. Now, go call your mother. In Flutter, the vertical position of a widget is a function of where its top begins and its height. That first part, where its top begins, is almost always what you want. But what if it isn't? What if you have a piece of text within a sized box whose bottom you need to align against a known position? Because the size of text is hard to predict across all platforms and devices, it's not easy to know where to place the top of your text to achieve this effect. But you know where to place its bottom, and that's where baseline comes in. Wrap your widget in a baseline, set its baseline type to alphabetic, and provide an offset to the baseline parameter. The baseline value will tell Flutter where to position the text so that its bottom will be that many pixels below the top of the parent. But what if the widget is 100 pixels tall, but the baseline is only set to 50? Oh no. It's an overflow, and that widget is about to get cozy with its neighbors. In Flutter, we often like to say that everything's a widget, which is not actually true. Some things like a database connection or stream of data from the device can be safely accessed without using a build context. To organize how you initialize these classes and access them from your widgets, try service locators like getIt. To start, register a class that your app will need later on. And then, when you need it, ask for it back. And what about classes that shouldn't be initialized until you need them, like a page-specific state management helper? Call it the register factory method, and retrieve your instance the same way. How does all of this make your app cleaner, you ask? getIt enables silky smooth dependency injection. For example, one trick is to register real and test versions of a helper, and then let your widgets be blissfully unaware of what's going on. Now your new widget is ready to be tested. So when only most things are a widget, try getIt to locate the things that aren't.